right, well, welcome to this Tech Tip Tuesday, sponsored by the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence at St. Leo University. We'll be recording this webinar, so if you'd like to view it later or recommend it to a colleague, you'll be able to find it on our webinar page at our CTLE website or on our YouTube channel. We'll drop those links in the chat at the end of the session. So my name is Greg Kunzweiler. I'm the Associate Director in our Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, and want to welcome Ariel Harvey here, one of our learning designers at the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, is excited to present to you today by the title of Use Creator Plus to easily create practice activities and formative assessments in D2L. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ariel. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. My name is Ariel Harvey. I'm a learning designer here at St. Leo. I have been with St. Leo for about 3.5 going on 4 years. And I'm excited today to go ahead and teach you guys how to use the Creator Plus elements, specifically the practice elements, because I think it gives faculty a way to assess their learners and keep them engaged throughout their content. And I believe it's really simple to use. So I'm going to go over each of the 7 practice elements in Creator Plus. I'm going to give you some information on why to use them, when would be a good time to use them, and then how to use them. And then following that, I'd like to actually do a couple of practices and show you step by step how to find it inside your D2L course shell. So first, we're going to talk about what are the practice elements. So the practice elements are interactive tools within D2L's Creator Plus. And that is the Creator Plus suite that we've purchased to help the school as a whole, help faculty create more engaging courses themselves, and also add some interactivity where they may not have been able to in the past. So the Creator Plus elements are going to allow you to create these formative assessments directly into the course and provide instant feedback to the students, which is going to encourage them and engage them in some active engagement reinforcement learning activities without having the pressure of having graded assessments. So there are 7 total practice elements in D2L. There are the drop-down fill in the blanks, regular fill in the blanks, multi-select, sequencing, multiple choice, sorting, and true and false. And these practice elements are separate from the activity elements. Why use the practice elements? So there's a couple of reasons why we want to use practice elements. One reason is that they promote interactive engagement. They're going to make learning more hands-on engaging for your online students. They support learning because they give the students immediate feedback, which helps them understand the concepts better and correct mistakes in real time. So as they're going through their modules, if there's something that they think they might know, they take the quick assessment and they learn that they may have had miscommunication, or they need to go back and reread something or learn it again. They can go back in real time and correct that mistake. The last reason is that they're simple to create. So these practice elements, they're accessible through D2L, the content editor, and there's minimal setup and there's really no technical advanced skills that are needed to create these. The first element I want to talk about is the drop-down fill-in-the-blank tool. This is best to use to test understanding, definitions, vocabulary, specific terminology. The element is helpful in language learning, science, and other technical courses. So on each slide, you will see a step-by-step process on how to add the element to the course. But following the slides, I'm going to go through and actually teach you how to find the Creator Plus tool in D2L and how to add those elements yourself. Number 2, is fill in the blanks. So this is ideal to use for recall-based learning, like filling in key terms or concepts and definitions. They're effective in courses with sequential or factual information like history or anatomy. The third tool is the multi-select practice activity, and that's useful for questions that have more than one answer, such as identifying key characteristics or multiple correct processes. Works well in disciplines like biology or social sciences, or any sort of theory courses. It would work really well with those as well. Number 4 is your multiple choice. This is pretty basic. It's best for assessing basic knowledge and comprehension that just has one correct answer. Suitable for quizzes, reviewing concepts, and reinforcing readings in any subject. Number 5 is your sequencing activity. And this is perfect for activities where the order matters, like procedural steps, timelines, or historical events. It's great for fields like history, science labs, or project management. Number 6 is your sorting practice element, which is ideal to use for categorizing information such as types of theories, classifications, or contrasting ideas. This works well in courses like biology, psychology, or management. And then finally, you have your basic true or false. It's best for quick fact checks and confirming basic understanding. It's great for reinforcing lecture material, readings, and validating assumptions. Okay, before we move into the best practices for engaging practice elements, I want to go ahead and open the floor for any questions that you guys might have so far on the 7 elements. Okay. Then I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to switch over to my sandbox in D2L to show you where to find these practice elements. I see my sandbox here. It should say module 1. And sandbox is spelled wrong, but we're going to ignore that. Okay, so here I am in module 1. In order to get to the practice activities for Creator Plus, you're going to enter into one of your modules. You'll click the drop down for new, and you're going to create a file. Now, this file can be any one of these templates that are here. I'm just going to click basic page. Now I have my basic St. Leo page here. I'm going to actually remove this picture because I don't want it there. And I can change the title to watercolor theory. This is always on my mind. So I'm teaching watercolor theory, erase the rest of the page. I'm going to give a basic overview of the theory. The primary colors, blue, yellow, and blue. Actually read your content from this course and respond to the following practice materials. Okay, so I'm going to assume that the students have already read the content in the course and I'm assessing them on primary colors. So I will go to the add. I'm going to click insert practice. From here, I can choose any of these 7. That's going to be the best for this specific content that I taught the students. So I think for me, I'm going to just choose a true or false. Give it a title. True or false activity. I'll call it an assessment. Students will assess their understanding of primary colors. Question. So my first question is, red is an example of a primary color. And you just put your answer choice there. My answer is going to be true, and I'm going to preview. So I always want to preview my elements. Anytime I put an assessment in, anytime I use one of these practice activities, I'm going to preview it before I send it. Check my answers. False. Close preview. Okay, then you can add more questions if you want to, or you can insert this one. Click the X button to close. And now you have your element here, your assessment element, true or false assessment. You can add another one too. So say you're doing, you want this page to be on watercolor theory and you want to include some multi-select as well as true or false. You can put that on the same page. You also want to think about adding some visuals to your assessment page. So that's going to also keep your students more engaged if they have something that they can look back at and refer to, especially if you're asking questions that are related to some of the materials in your text or in some of the other modules in the course. You want to have some visuals for the students. Maps, photographs, anything that you think is going to relate to the assessment. So you see I can insert another practice element. Multi-select. Primary colors assessment. I'm actually going to leave that blank here. Choose all of the primary colors. So you see this is pretty basic. Does anyone have any questions so far? Put the colors there, and then you're just going to make sure you have your colors checked. And you can randomize, give it a score. I'm going to give it all or nothing and insert. Now on my single page, so this is just one page in my module, I'm going to have two different assessment elements. Okay. Are there any questions so far? Everybody's good. Okay. Yes. Not sure why that is not saving. Need a title for my page.
Can you show how there's how you can add multiple questions to one assessment, or do you have to do an individual assessment each time?
So if you are doing the same kind of assessment, so if I want, so you see here you have primary colors true or false. You see how it shows up, Dave? So this is one assessment, and I can have a variety of different kinds of assessments. I can have true or false, I can have sequencing, I can have multi-select, and it'll show up like that. So if I want to do, for example, two true or false questions, is that what you mean? Or if I want to do two multi-select questions?
Yeah, like whenever you were first creating, can you go in that screen and add like more questions under the same thing, or do you have to do like add a similar assessment each time? So if you're doing a true or false, can you add just be in that same window, add another question, or do you have to go and select another true or false and then add that.
Okay, so if I want to do true or false, I'm going to go to edit here. And it looks like you can only do one at a time, Dave. That was a good question because I actually did not know the answer to that. So
Okay,
it looks
thank
like,
you.
yeah, it looks like you have to do one and then it shows up there and then you can do the next one.
This looks like a little bit different from when you want to create a quiz in D2L.
Yes.
Be auto graded. This is a different thing. When you're building a quiz in D2L, you could have a different variety of different questions. So
Yes.
that's maybe a different tutorial.
Yeah, exactly. The quizzes are also usually, Christina, unless you do them ungraded, quizzes can be attached to your grade book. These formative assessments, they're going to be just plugged in throughout your course, throughout on different pages.
I was just trying to differentiate for this person. I'm sorry, catch his name. Oh, David.
Dave.
Yeah, there is a quiz builder where you can have different questions and it can be auto graded. That's all. That's all. I was just trying to differentiate from this. It's a different thing. It's a different animal.
Yes. Yep. Any other questions?
I have a question. Does D2L let you do release conditions on these assessments? So let's say I want to make sure that a student completes this formative assessment, this practice, before moving on to the next page of the module. Is that something that can be done?
Not that I have been able to see. I don't think so.
Okay.
There's no options for that. There's feedback, hints, or enumeration, but no, I don't think you can have release conditions for these.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems more like a formative that, you know, I haven't even been able to see where the as an instructor, if you can see how the students are doing on these assessments either.
Yeah.
Because they're not graded. Okay. So just a few best practices for engaging the practice elements. You want to start with your learning objectives. That just means you want to make sure that you align each practice activity with specific course objectives. So you want to ensure that each of the element is going to reinforce those key knowledge or skills that you're building. Use visuals to enhance the understanding. So while some elements allow limited visuals directly within the question, the practice activities don't, but you can put visuals around the practice activities. Mix and match for variety. So you want to use different elements across the course to keep the engagement high. For instance, sequencing for processes, multi-select for complex questions, and then true or false for quick knowledge checks. So you may get comfortable using one or two of them, but you want to try practicing a variety of them to keep the students engaged with your content. Provide immediate feedback. So you want to craft meaningful feedback for correct and incorrect answers. So this is going to help your students understand why an answer is right or wrong, and it's also going to help reinforce the learning. Keep instructions clear and concise. Provide straightforward directions to reduce confusion, especially for elements that may be less similar, like sorting or sequencing. And then finally, I did mention this earlier, that you want to test before publishing. So you want to go through each practice activity as a student to ensure that the setup is clear. And that you can do through D2L if you view it as a student. Okay, and then there's time left for your Q&A. Also, I just want you to think about, as a takeaway, which of these elements you find yourself ready and willing to add to your current or future courses, and take a moment to share those thoughts. Thank you for joining us today.
All right. Any other questions or anything? All right. Well, thank you, Ariel. That was great. Good demo. Hopefully more and more faculty will want to use those particular features. I think they're great.
I hope so.
All right. Yeah, I do too. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for participating in today's webinar. We hope you learned something new today that you can use in your everyday teaching. If you'd like to apply something you've learned, we encourage you to use our apply and reflect form that you can find on our leaderboard page. We'd like to ask you also to complete the feedback survey that was posted above by Candace. We dropped that in the link as well. And lastly, remember to check out this and more of the videos on our YouTube channel. We obviously, encourage people to subscribe and check those notifications so then you see new ones that come in. But thanks everyone for coming and have a great rest of the day.